What is going on, boys and girls? It is your boy Temp Sits. I'm back at Coast Yamaha. Today I'm on a Yamaha R3. Let's jump on, see how she goes. Yamaha R3. Now, this is a bike that I've copped a little bit of flack for not mentioning in my videos, and the reason for that is because I hadn't been on one, so I just sort of forget about it. So, initial thoughts, oh, that's neutral. So first, from absolute first impressions, sitting on this bike is quite nice. Even for me as 200 centimeters, 6'7", I fit really well into this bike, which I definitely do not say about a lot of Lamb's bikes, right? So my foot on the peg, under the tank there, that fits really well. It's really comfortable. And then because that fits nicely, you can push yourself into that passenger seat and hold yourself up. So I like how that fits me. I think that's the first like smaller learner bike that I can genuinely say that about, apart from like MT-07s and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's pretty sick. I was not expecting that, but yeah, this weird shaped tank actually works. And then because I fit onto it, that seat feels a little bit nicer. It's not overly soft, but it does feel pretty comfortable, so that's cool. And what else? We've got a stock exhaust on it, but it actually sounds half decent for a stock exhaust. Like you wouldn't really need to change that, if I'm perfectly honest, especially for your Lamb's bike. I reckon you'd be alright keeping that stock exhaust on it. What else? On the dash here we've got a gear indicator, temperature, fuel sensor, odo, analog RPM, which is nice. Yeah, that scoots up nicely. It's not super crazy at the lower RPMs, but you know, it's only a 300cc bike, so I'm not expecting crazy amounts of torque. These look cool as well. I mean, all the new Lamb's bikes look good, but yeah, I'm really digging the look of these new ones. This is in the white. There's also there's a matte black one down there at Coasties, which looked pretty cool as well. I reckon if I had my choice of the litter, I'd probably go that matte black. I reckon that looks sick. What else? Leaving that car park there, the turning circle felt pretty nice on it, which is it's a handy thing to have on a learner bike, because you got to be practicing your U-turns in car parks. I think part of that's because this tank's so thin at the front. There's just a bit extra room for the handlebars to go, which means they can have those lower handlebars and still get the turning circle. Now this is not a powerful bike by all means. Got a little bit less power than the Ninja 400. I think like they're all roughly the same, the 300-400cc bikes. What do you reckon? That's right to lean over the windscreen. Doesn't really do a whole lot, let's be honest. Oh, we're gonna... Yeah. Liking the paint job on it. I think that looks pretty cool. Of course, being such a small bike, it's incredibly nimble to throw around, which is handy as a learner. I reckon, I honestly reckon if you're a big dude and you're set on a lower power sports bike looking learner bike for some reason, you're in luck here. I reckon I fit just a little bit nicer than the Ninja 400. The looks are a little bit different. These look a lot better than the R15s, because that was Yamaha's problem for ages, was the R15 was a pretty average bike, if we're completely honest. But the R3 sold like crazy, so it's gone leaps and bounds, which is good. But yeah, no, I never rated the 150cc bike. I think that in this country, at least, that's just too small for everyone. That's my personal opinion. But the R3, you know, it's twice the engine capacity. You know, you've just got that extra bit to get you around. Gear indicator is always quite handy to have, especially as a learner, because I've been riding for years now and I still have no idea what gear I'm in most of the time, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. This bike has only done 26 kilometres. She's brand spanking new, this bike. So cheers to Coasties for letting let me take it out. Go down and see the boys down there. I reckon my new bike should be there soon, so hopefully you'll see a video on that. Yeah, love the boys down at Coasties. They look after me, so if you guys could go and look after them, that'd be cool. The only issue I've got thus far, and it's a thing that some bikes do, is that there's just one indicator picture and not one for each side. And gonna be honest, that because it's on the left hand side of the bike, the OCD shits me to tears. I see it flashing, I'm like, oh, I've got my left indicator on and I'm turning right, but it's just trying to trick you. That's a real chunky master brake cylinder there. Mirrors look pretty decent for, you know, stock mirrors. Yeah, she gets up on boogies with a heavy ass dude on top, so that's cool. And 6 gears is nice, don't even have that in the CB, so better not race the gets, don't want them to get chopped too much. What else have we got on this bike? No traction control, of course, because it's not like you're ever going to want a less powerful mode than stock. Single brake disc on the front, but not an overly heavy bike, so you don't necessarily need 2 discs for a bike of this size. Probably be handier if you're a bigger dude to have 2, but if that's an issue, grab a bigger bike. But yeah, I mean, so much of the Lambs market is looks based, and the R3 looks cool. Yamaha's always had cool looking bikes, you know, that you can't fault them for that. They've always had super popular bikes, like the R1s for years and years was probably like the most known of the Japanese super sport bikes. Really, for people that are not into bikes, it's like everyone hears R1 and sort of knows what that is. And it's not like the R1 was particularly better than any of the other 1000cc's, you know, they're all around the same. It's just, you know, just an interesting thing about Yamaha. Whatever they do, they do it right somehow. This dude's doing 60, which is a little bit annoying. So, landing into these corners, gotta say, I like how it feels really planted through these corners. It feels more planted than a lot of the other bikes in the same class do through the corners, which is nice, because it's not like it's too much heavier than the others or anything else. Just seems a little bit planted, so I don't know whether that's suspension or it's got extra weight or what, but I rate it. Come on, dude, I'm trying to do a bike review here. Flippin' heck. There we go. Look at that. Overtaking power of the R3. Plenty of overtaking power. Not an issue there. Just drop back into fourth. Boom. See you later, buddy. At 80 k's, so you know you're not going to run into issues of running out of power for an overtake, which is the advantage of the bikes that are anything over 250. 250 you struggle a bit. Anything over you've sort of got enough power there, so that's nice to see. I think price-wise they're pretty comparable to everything else in the class. Yeah, that turns. I honestly have a lot more confidence in the corners on this. It being the first time I've ridden this bike, I got more confidence in the corners on this than I did on the Ninja 400 or on the Duke 390. So I think that says a lot about how it handles in corners. Not that either of those bikes are bad at handling or cornering, but this feels more planted in the corners, so that's honestly a really good thing for learner riders, which is the market for them. Fuel-wise, these are going to be pretty good. They're a lightweight bike with a small engine, so you're never going to have to worry about fuel. That's cool. Really want to put some aftermarket levers on here, make it look a little bit cooler, but other than that, you're really ready to rock on one of these. Get a tail tidy. I honestly wouldn't even worry with an exhaust for one of these. I reckon it sounds good enough stock that you keep it stock, and then look at your trade-in value after a couple of years of being on your learners and R-date. So that's my personal opinion. I'd say, apart from some levers which are changeable. Let's see how we go here. Yeah, that brake doesn't have an issue. And then let's go 0 to 100. Rolling start. That was 0 to 80 because 80 is the speed limit. And I mean, it's not lightning fast, but it's it's definitely fast enough. I think it's also, with how this throttle feels, it'll be very hard to go around accidentally wheeling and throw yourself off, which is another handy thing to think about for a learner's bike. You probably sit on one of these, goes through the hills all day, every day, and if you're ringing it off its necks, I'm sure you'd be able to keep up with people that were staying close to the right side, close enough to the right side of the law that you don't have to worry about jumping on and worrying about your mates leaving you for dead. They might leave you in the straights, and then if you hone your skills, you can probably catch them in the corners if they're slow, and have a fun day dragging knee. But yeah. And also the other thing with this is they almost look like they're full-size bikes. As long as you don't get a Repsol kit on a 250, you're not. It's not like you're going to cop flack from people for riding a small bike. Now, the big question: would you go an R3 or an MT-07? I still reckon MT-07's the king. I still reckon the MT-07's king of the lambs bikes. But is this better than a Ninja 400? And I reckon I would probably almost take this over the Ninja 400. The extra 100cc is nice, but it depends if you get a deal on this or a deal on the Ninja 400. I reckon this in the matte black looks better, which is what I reckon it comes down to the most for lambs bikes a lot of the time, is the looks. And I reckon this looks better. The performance difference between this and a Ninja 400 will be small enough for it to not really be an issue. It's not like you get sick of this bike any quicker than you would a Ninja 400, if you catch my drift. So I reckon it comes down to personal preference in style, and I personally prefer this style over the Ninja 400. They're very similar, the tanks are very similar. I just feel I fit a little bit better on this bike, and I think it looks a little bit cooler. And you know, I need every extra bit of CC I can get out of a bike because I'm a big dude, but you know, lucky I also just want to say that it is not fair how much... Woo, there we go, false neutral. It's not fair how much more choice people have on cool bikes now than they did 4 years ago when I was learning, you know? Like, the Ninja 300 was like sick and that was about it. When the MT-07s came out, they were sick, but that was like, I already had a bike by then, it wasn't fair. So, oh well, whatever. You know, I would have loved a Yamaha R3 as a first bike, if I'm completely honest. Would have been a hell of a lot better than the CF Moto 150 I had, but there was no way I was buying the R15. Or I bought a 150, so the R115. Anyway, this bike is cool. I would have loved to have started it, and I reckon I would have been fine for the year and a half on my learners and restricted license. You know? I think this is plenty enough bike to get you through, unless you live out in the country and you want to do, you know, hundreds and hundreds of Ks a week on the highway. Then maybe get something a bit bigger engine. But if you're just cruising around the suburbs, cruising around the streets, then I reckon something like this is perfect. Perfect. So, final reviews with Blakey. Is this bike worth the money? They're not. They're not the cheapest bike going around, but they feel really good quality. The brakes feel alright. It's got enough go power to keep you out of trouble. You can hang with the big boys enough, you know. Plenty of corner confidence if you want to go tear up the tracks, and it's not going to use any fuel, so it's cheap to run, cheap to register, cheap to insure. It has the Temp Sits stamp of approval. This pretty much concludes the review. So, if you've got any other bikes that you want to see me test ride, let me know in the comments below and I'll do my best to give it a crack. Hopefully my next video will be my new bike review. Hopefully that happens soon. So yeah, we'll then be doing a whole lot of modification goodness on that when I get it. So make sure you subscribe for all of that goodness. What else? If you want to get yourself a TempSits key tag or sticker, go to www.tempsits.com. Help support the channel, and I'll give you internet kisses. So yeah, this has been my Yamaha R3 review of the 2018 model. Cheers, peace.